Once you've logged into the system, the unit summary screen is always the first screen that you'll see. However, to view your rosters, be it for a future period or an already planned one, we just need to go to the View Rosters section just on the left hand side here. So if we click the View Rosters section, it will only show you the rosters for the units that you're assigned. So if you only have access to one unit, which is the usual case, it will just load everything for that unit based on the date that's in this top right hand corner here. So it was shown as the 24th of the 10th, and that's the period that it's loaded for us. If we wanted to view a different period, I could use the calendar and pick a past period should I want to, or any future period if we were looking to build that one now. Just to explain what's going on this screen first and foremost, this is now the roster. So we now have this section up at the top here which shows our empty shifts. Now for the moment I'm just going to hide these so it looks a little bit more clean. And we now have a visible roster for these individuals on the left hand side here. So we've got a roster that spans from the 24th of October 16 to the 20th of November 16. This purple bar that runs parallel along those dates. And then we have each individual team member broken up into teams. Remember that your unit could look a little bit different. It's possible to not have teams at all or different orientations of team. It's just however your individual unit is set up. But this is a typical setup for a ward or unit within the hospital. So we have a ward manager team, deputies, registered nurses, healthcare assistants, and ward clerks, all separated into their own each individual groups. Now at the moment, for this particular period, it's quite empty. There aren't any planned shifts going ahead, and that's what we'll go through later. We also have the ability to navigate the roster just by dragging from any blank space. So if I pick any blank space, be it a weekend, be it just an empty shift here, I can actually drag around the roster just by clicking and dragging, and it will show me past periods and past shifts. If we just go back to the 24th, I'll just drag that back into view. It's now available. We also have the option of reducing or increasing the amount of information that we can see as well. So if I use this drop down box here, which is currently set to 4 weeks, which is the whole roster period at the moment, if I reduce that down to 1 week, it just gives us a little bit more room to play with, and it also makes the information that you're looking at a little bit easier to digest. You can see everything in terms of a particular shift, and you'll see that later in the assigning shifts section. If I move to 2 weeks, again, exactly the same principle, but it will now show you the 2 weekends. We also have the ability to filter a roster down by person. So sometimes, especially when you're looking at already rostered information, you may want to just look at that one individual. So just by typing their surname, so for example, if I type Bolton in here and press enter, it will just filter everyone from that roster and go down to this chap Bruce Bolton here. Again, you would be able to see his individual shifts rather than everyone's, which again makes it easier to digest. To remove the filter, all I need to do is just highlight or just click and delete the name, and once it's blank, press enter and it will bring everyone back. To change the dates, in the top right hand corner, as I've already mentioned, you can just pick a new date using the options here, and that will load that date at that point. And again, I'll just go back to the 24th of October, and here we are. And if I just click show vacancies once more, that will reopen that box at the top there, which contains all our empty and vacant shifts. These are the shift numbers that we've got available to us to issue out to staff, and they're usually separated by grade. So we've got registered nurse shifts, early, late, night. We have a specific ward manager shift, which is just a WM, ward manager. And again, if I hover over it, it will tell me a little bit more information about that shift, as it would any shift. HCA shifts, same principle, earlies, lates and nights. And then the ward clerk shifts, a WC shift, or something equivalent that you'd see on your roster. And these are all the vacant shifts I have available to issue to my ward clerks, healthcare assistants, my ward manager and the registered nurses on my roster. And we'll come on to building a roster in a different section.